The Fushigi marshes are included in Natura 2000 network and cover an area of about 1,800 hectares, which make it the widest inland marsh in Italy. Thanks to the water supply coming from the courses of the Pre-Apennines mountainous chain and its climate containing Mediterranean and continental features, the basin is suitable to various kinds of plants coming from warm as well as cold climates, from the royal fern to the tufted sedge, and from carnivorous plants to particular water lilies. Because of its characteristic vegetation and floristic peculiarities, the Fucecchi marshes are considered a particularly interesting biotope by the Italian Botanic Society. Closely linked to its importance as suitable habitat for various types of plants, the marshes area turns out to be fundamental for a great many species of birds in their migratory routes, especially within the Tyrrhenian coast and hinterland. Close attention is to be given to herons and their concentration in this area of interest, which is considered one of the outstanding nesting colonies in Italy. This is due to the fact that a great number of breeding pairs live in the marshes, and among them 7 different species of herons can be detected. In addition, a noteworthy element is presented by mammals, among which attention is focused on the nutria and the harvest mouse, the smallest European rodent. Last but not least, further features of particular interest are the great number of coleopterans, beetles typical of North Central Europe, and red swamp crayfish coming from the American continent. Among the most frequent activities we should mention bird watching and photographing, together with educational and recreational activities for schools carried out by the Center of Research, Documentation and Promotion of Fucecchi marshes. We join up with research and monitoring services to check the quality of the environment. The territory now included within the boundaries of the Migliarino-San Rossore-Massaciuccoli Regional Park has undergone over the centuries a series of changes ascribable to anthropization. Historical evidences allowed the reconstruction of the evolution of this environment, which is always being characterized by wide lagoons alternated with woods and marshes, typical of the delta areas. Migliarino, San Rossore and Massaciuccoli Regional Park is a coastal area overlooking the eastern part of the northern Tyrrhenian Sea. It is what remains of the planitia forest that once linked with the woods, swamps, lagoons and dunes the mouth of the Magra River north of the marshes at the foot of the hill south of Livorno. UNESCO has recently established a new biosphere reserve called Selva Pisana. The Arno Vecchio Nature Reserve lies in a place where the Arno River once flowed. The original riverbed was modified in the 16th century, and later in that site a gravel quarry began to operate, which contributed to shape the morphology of the soil. It is characterized by a mosaic of different environments that, though artificially created, underwent a spontaneous process of naturalization, still in progress due to the river giving up of the productive activities. The nature reserve of 2 small lakes where a lot of species of waterbirds nest and find shelter. We can find the grebe, the cormorant, the little bittern, the coot, the kingfisher and the heron. Among the birds linked to the marshy vegetation, we find the sandpiper, the moran, the caddis warbler and the Remix pendulinus. Surrounded by human environment, the area gives shelter to various species of mammals, among which small rodents, porcupine, nutria, insectivores, such as the hedgehog and the mole, and carnivores such as weasel, beech, marten, badger, and fox. Along the shores we have rich vegetation, as willows and poplars, in particular big trees, white willows. In this territory, a path was made to create full access to visitors, which allows the disabled to visit the reserve. The park was established as a natural site or community in Colleval Delta by the municipality and the region and the regional council. The area is rich of flora and fauna. In the river one can see freshwater mussels, river shrimps and river crabs, and many vertebrates also inhabit the banks of the Elsa. There are several species of birds to be seen in the river valley, drawn by the abundance of nesting places and food, including a very fine species of heron, egret, wild duck, the moan, wagtail, and finally the kingfisher. In the park there are two places, Steccaia and Callone Reale. There are two important pieces of hydraulic engineering. These roads are of great importance to the town, inasmuch as they were used ever since medieval times to divert part of the waters of the Elsa. In this way, the water could be used as the driving force for water mills in the first instance and subsequently for paper mills, steelworks, and various industrial uses. In particular, La Steccaia serves to hold back and divert some of the waters of the river Elsa. The date when this hydraulic system was built is unclear. Some sources date it to the 10th century. However, we know the exact date when it was restored, 116 and 06, under the auspices of Ferdinando I dei Medici, the Grand Duke of Tuscany.